Marketing's about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get a chance to get people to remember much about us. One of the greatest jobs of marketing in the universe has ever seen is Nike. Remember, Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. And yet, when you think of Nike, you feel something different than a shoe company.
So this quote, from probably one of the greatest entrepreneurs of all time, effectively sums up Nike's advertising strategy. Unlike other companies, their ads aren't filled with meaningless dribble, the reading off of spec sheets, the bragging about the exceptional capabilities of their products, or anything else that other companies do to make you think more highly of them. Instead, to once again quote Steve Jobs,
They honor great athletes and they honor great athletics. That's who they are. That's what they are about.
They don't tell you why their products are the best for sports or exercise or anything else. They simply tell you the greatest stories of sports and athleticism, and it's ultimately why their marketing is a level above most other companies. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the brilliance of Nike advertising.
Just do it.
Stories. The impact a well-told one can have on the world can't really be understated. One such example of this is the allegorical novel Animal Farm. Written by George Orwell in 1945, many people still quote it to this day, even if many of them don't even know what they're quoting. Ironically, when the work was originally published, it was mocked by critics on all sides, with most people not really understanding what the novel is about. But decades later, it's well respected and responsible for educating thousands, if not millions, on the dangers of communism and totalitarianism. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. You wouldn't think that a novel about barnyard animals would be the most effective way to drive home a point about the dangers of a form of government and social thought, but it is. Why? Because it's a story.
Today is April 30th, 2016. I am a little over 700 pounds. I know I need to make a change because if I don't, my weight is going to kill me. I have a long and harsh road in front of me.
So what does this all have to do with Nike? Their unconventional advertising demonstrates a unique understanding of the power of story that most other companies either don't know or don't care about. Take, for instance, the testimonial, an oft underappreciated form of promoting your products. Despite the fact that 85% of consumers trust an online review as much as a personal recommendation from a friend, at least according to a local consumer review survey conducted in 2017. Fundamentally, someone who sees either a written or a video testimonial will be more persuaded by that than a product shot with a voiceover logically explaining why their product is 10 times better than any of the competitors. But why is this? Well, it's because humans don't make decisions logically, they make them emotionally. Years ago, neuroscientist Antonio Damasio, I am so sorry if I'm butchering that name, conducted a study on people with brain damage to the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for emotion, and found that those people had a vastly impaired decision-making ability. Even if it can be logically and empirically explained why one product or service is better than another, if the consumer cannot connect emotionally with that brand, it'll do little to endear that product or company to them. Ultimately, as neuroscientist Douglas Van Prayet says, we feel our way to reason.
When was the last time we played, though? Whew, it's been a while. Gotta redeem myself now. It's time. Oh man, what better place?
How do you make people trust your brand over competitors then? Story. Stories are how we think. They are how we make meaning of life. Call them schemas, scripts, cognitive maps, mental models, metaphors, or narratives. Stories are how we explain how things work, how we make decisions, how we justify our decisions, how we persuade others, how we understand our place in the world, create our identities, and define and teach social values. That was a quote from Pamela B. Routledge, who has a PhD in psychology and is a lot smarter than I am. No matter what the purpose, no matter what the method, whether it be testimonials, conventional advertising, or even allegories designed to warn us about social danger and communism, stories are the best way to communicate that, because stories are how we as humans think.
This is you at the US Open. This is you.
In their ads, as you know, they don't ever talk about the products. They don't ever tell you about their air soles and why they're better than Reebok's air soles.
Call it emotional manipulation, but their slogan, "Just Do It," allows people to emotionally connect with and attach a lifestyle to Nike. It's hard to tell whether any of the branding around Nike is genuine, but there's no denying it's effective. Consider one of Nike's most popular internet videos, Make It Count. The video was intended to promote the launch of their new product, the Nike Fuel Band, but out of the 4-minute and 37-second video, only around 8 seconds actually have to do with the Fuel Band itself. And that's a lot more product placement than their ads normally give. If humans made choices based purely on logic, then a 4-minute video explaining exactly what the Fuel Band is would have been effective. But humans are emotional. Our emotions influence our decision making, and we emotionally connect with stories more than anything else. Humans connect most to athletes who had to overcome insurmountable challenges to reach the position they are in today. They don't connect with a generic voice telling you that this product will change your life. Let's return to Steve Jobs' 1997 talk where he praised Nike's advertising.
Apple spends a fortune on advertising. You'd never know it. You'd never know it.
In that same internal meeting, he also announced the Think Different ad campaign.
We started working about 8 weeks ago, and the question we asked was, our customers want to know who is Apple and what is it that we stand for. What we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their jobs done, although we do that well. What we have is something I'm very moved by. The theme of the campaign is Think Different. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it, and I hope that you feel the same way about it I do.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
When asked about the campaign later on, Jobs said this: "It wasn't about processor speed or memory, it was about creativity." So if you're a budding entrepreneur who has a limited budget for advertising, don't fill your ads with storyless, meaningless drivel, and instead consider taking a page out of Nike's book and make it count.